Welcome to the Short Funk Podcast. I'm Tom Barbalet, and today part 2 of Jewishness. Slightly happier than part 1. I started to be contacted by people called Barbalat, B-A-R-B-A-L-A-T, in probably about 2005, 2006, maybe 2006, 2007. These people clearly weren't related to us, and when I talked to my father about them, he's just like, don't have anything more to do with them. But they contacted me, and for a period of time, they were in correspondence associated with whether or not we were related. This is prior to, easy testable genetics. This was a strange period of time for me because I realized that what had happened in the Holocaust was associated with, social obliteration. It wasn't just associated with mass genocide. It was also associated with family connections and information just being eliminated. And the fact that there were these people who clearly weren't related to me but wanted to be related to me really, in curious lights, kind of framed my sense that I needed to find out a little bit more. But I didn't really have the tools available to me. We then fast forward a decade, 23andMe, 46% Ashkenazi, and also a sense of my deceased grandfather, maybe my father's father, maybe, 10 years. That there were other Barbalets out there, but, through the Holocaust and all that process, that they didn't continue to exist. That seemed to me to be implausible. I mean, I understand that there was mass genocide and I understand that there were a lot of people killed, but we were pretty active in order to get out of Eastern Europe. And I can't imagine, there were a few that stayed behind, particularly on my father's mother's side, who were killed. There's evidence. Clear demonstrable evidence of that. But my sense was that there was such persistence in order to leave Eastern Europe. And here we're talking about from, the 1900s through to the 1930s. There was, every generation, a group left Eastern Europe because they'd already been kicked out of Russia. And they sure as hell weren't going to be, probably they thought, kicked out of, but clearly, what happened. Genetics provide a remarkable window into this. And through 23andMe, I was able to track, it's now about 60 people who share some degree of genetics up to about 7 generations up. And it made me realize that there were actually a vast quantity of people who were there. And through this also, I connected through Facebook with a wide variety of second cousins that I never knew I had on the Barbalet side. There were 7 kids. Probably 5 had children on the Barbalet side of my grandfather's level. And there are generations of people, predominantly in the UK, but also in Israel and Australia and South Africa, who came from this lineage and who were completely forgotten in any of the general discussion that I had associated with family trees and what have you. There are still unknown people in this, and what interests me is the level of detail that we can get through genetics and then written history. And I'm starting to feel that I'm at a plateau. But in terms of a general understanding of a side of my family that I had very little connection with, this period of time has been very reinvigorating, and it makes me feel more connected at least to an ethnic group that I'm clearly a part of, on some regard, in some blend fashion, but also that science, genetics, social science, oral history, understanding these things, understanding the wide variety of things are wrong without the DNA, and even the DNA is a little bit fuzzy. Fascinating stuff, and reconnected me, actually, in terms of, not necessarily politically, but at least thinking of myself in terms of the need to remind or remember certainly what happened in the Second World War, but also the fact that humanity has this amazing ability to continue to persist, even in these circumstances, and create wonderful stories, amazing narrative, that ultimately is the thing that I'm really addicted to here. Anyway, a little musing associated with Jewishness that isn't associated with me in some nasty situation in Canberra, Australia. John Barbalet in San Jose, signing out.